Good evening, comic book fans, Richard Corben fans, Gore fans, Underground Comics fans. What up? Just going to give it a few seconds here. Because we were looking through this book, I'm kind of following along on YouTube, watching the live stream. I'm filming this one or streaming from my phone on this one. I feel like my phone gives me the best quality, and when we're doing stuff like this, I kind of want to have the best quality possible. This is the newest Richard Corben library book that came out, Rowlf and Other Fantasy Stories. Mr. Earl Grey did a fantastic video. I saw it kind of first thing this morning. It popped up on my stream or on my subscription feed rather, right away. I think mere 10 minutes after he posted it, and I dug into it right away. He did a fantastic job looking at this. I wouldn't do this unless I had different things to kind of show. Well, let's face it, I probably would do it anyway. No offense, Earl Grey. He did a fantastic job, but because I've got some different books that also have this material in it, I thought it might be interesting to do a little comparison. I've done this in the past before, so I pulled out, so I've got a couple of, here, let me take this dust jacket away. I'll kind of show you what we're going to be looking at. So I've got the individual issues. The first, I think it's the first and second printing. I've got a copy of Grim Wit where one of the stories appears. We've looked at this before, but this is Werewolf. There's a couple of the stories that appear in here as well. And then this is the Richard Corben Complete Works Book 3 from Catalan, Rowlf and Underground. And then I also pulled the 3 issues of Heavy Metal that have Rowlf in it in color. So we're going to look at, it'll mainly be the Rowlf storyline, but there's other stuff contained in here as well. And just to give you kind of a sense of what he was drawing from this, maybe why some of the choices were made. Earl Grey talks about color versus black and white. I didn't realize that this was going to be in black and white. I didn't read too much about it. I just knew it was coming out. Or if I did know that it was going to be in black and white, I quickly forgot it. The joys of being old, I guess, with a shitty memory. I think it's great that they recreated this stuff in black and white, or presented it rather in black and white. I think one of the points, I haven't read through this yet, but from Earl Grey's video, one of the points made by Jose Villarrubia and company was that this material was originally intended for black and white. So he drew everything and texturized everything for that purpose. So I think it's great to kind of put this in a presentation of how it was originally intended. I'm going to try my best to follow along with comments. I'm looking at a computer behind me, but if I miss your comments, it's not because I'm ignoring you. I'm just trying to do a couple things at the same time. So Rowlf, #1, second printing, front cover. And again, even when there is color stuff presented, they do a really nice job of recreating that. There's kind of a side-by-side there of the two. I feel like there's a little more dimension in the smoke here, and it blends nicer into the background. We fade off into the black a lot better than we do on the cover there. So nice to see that stuff presented that way. So here's the stories that we get in this volume. The story of Rowlf, the Beast of Wolfton, the Spirit of the Beast, and the story of Oteg. The story of Oteg, I don't think I'm familiar with. I don't think I have anything, unless it appeared in like a creepy or one of the Million Underground anthologies that he contributed to. I'm not exactly sure where that one comes from, and I didn't take the time before the stream to dip into that here. I say it every single time. I'm so glad that these are as popular as they are. I live for these books, man. I'm a huge Corben fan, as you know, for those of you that have been watching the channel for a while, and for those of you who maybe are stumbling onto this video. if you go into kind of my past catalog, you'll see a number of focus or spotlights, I guess, on Corben over the years. Just an incredible artist. So keep buying these because I need more. Comic book aesthete, how are you? Corben had a dream job. It's okay. You're not ignoring me. I was ignoring you mildly there. So in this one, we get a intro from Miyazaki. And again, from Earl Grey's video today, what I didn't know is that he tried to get the rights to Rowlf to make a movie out of it in 1980. It didn't happen. I can't wait to dig into this to read. That fascinates me. I can't imagine a Miyazaki take on this story. Yeah, I mean, it would have been an incredible thing. So this is Rowlf. So maybe we'll pause right here. We'll see if this stays open without me doing too much damage to the spine. Let's have a look as we're kind of going through this. So originally 1971 is when this is first published. And of course, right away, I think it's apparent that, when you're seeing stuff on crisp white paper versus this yellowed paper, obviously it's a completely different experience. That said, though, even in the comic, yes, you're missing some of the detail for sure. Like if you look behind this, I think, figure here, this person descending a staircase, you can't really see the textures on the wall. There's a little bit lost in the facial features and things, but overall, it's not a horrible job that happened in these. And again, I think that that's mainly due to his meticulous nature. I mean, this is kind of the infamous shot here, I guess, because of, yes, of course, it's Corben. So yes, of course, there's gigantic tits. But let's try our best to look past that for the moment and just focus on what's happening under the water. I know it sounds so ridiculous to say these things. I read Playboy for the articles, and I read Richard Corben for his depiction of the human form. But in all seriousness, this is fucking incredible stuff happening under the water here. Let's have a look at, let's check in a couple of other formats here. So let's look at the Catalan collection. I believe the Catalan stuff is presented in color. Is it not? One sec here. Yes, it sure is. So let's pop this out of the way for a moment. And then here is the color. So Earl Grey shows off a German, I think it's a German version that he has that's in color, that he was really taken by. Because I'm not kind of doing a direct comparison with his video, I feel like this is the same coloring that's happening in here. And what he said was that the coloring in this case was done by an assistant, which is news to me. Do we have extra? Yes, there we go. So there's again the same look at the infamous page, and then there's the Miyazaki intro page there. That panel just colorized in this one. So again, it's really just beautiful stuff. He does a beautiful job. Let me have a look at this here. Was there an extra page added? Oh no, there wasn't. I just missed it. And then finally, let's have a peek at how it looks in the new book here. So nice and beautifully crisp as well. We'll have a look at the heavy metal one as well too in a minute. Beautiful, beautiful shit. Like unbelievable, man. Just everything about every single one of these pages. I mean, that probably is a hot mess in the book. Yeah. Let's have a look to see how that reproduced. Well, it's not a hot mess, but actually, that's again not too bad. Comparing those two, that's actually not too bad the way that looks there compared to the reproduction. So I don't know what kind of alchemy he had going on there. This is from Ripoff Press, 1971. So it's not like at that point they had, you know, a decade under their belt of printing comics. So I can only imagine that he had a very firm hand in that reproduction there. Let's have a quick look at some heavy metal, shall we? So this is from November 1979. So it appeared in 3 parts. November 1979, December 1979, and January 1980 are the 3 parts that 3 parts of Rowlf. And let's go to, let's see some boobs. Beautiful in there as well. Curious. I'm kind of doing this for the first time myself too here, so apologies for the back and forth. Yeah, there absolutely feels like the color is a lot more vibrant in the heavy metal issue compared to the Catalan. Seems desaturated. I don't know if it's oversaturated in that, but I kind of have a preference of this. You can see a little more of the greens, more of that flesh tone appears there as well too. Some side-by-sides over here to kind of get a look. So the heavy metal one is not bad at all, except for, as usual, the horrible type being used for the lettering. Yeah, beautiful. It is really nice in color, I got to admit. I wasn't sold on Earl Grey's video when he was showing it. I could see the appeal, but I wasn't sold seeing it on video. But seeing it in Crank, seeing it in person makes quite a bit of a difference. Anyway, so there we go with the heavy metal. We'll just kind of flip through another few pages here. 420, how you doing? Got here in time for boobs. And then Forgerelli, I'd give Villarubia the benefit of the doubt on the coloring. 100%. I agree with you completely, Forgerelli. Video Homicide, how you doing, man? I agree with you, Forgerelli. There's no argument from me whatsoever. I would absolutely give him the benefit of the doubt. I just enjoy kind of doing these comparisons. So nice to see this, man. I wonder if they have any other black and whites. I mean, it's also the classic kind of conversation back in the day, back when I was a young and talking about comics and being a fan of comics, and black and white comics were just not seen as real, quote unquote, real comics. Having his nightmarish visions there, they just weren't seen as real comics. Color comics were what was actually the real thing. Black and white was just not it. And it's just how wrong, seeing stuff like this, it just obviously proves how wrong that sentiment is. There's plenty of room for both. Really great to see his stuff this way, though. Yeah. Beautiful. Man, oh man. They're just doing a fucking bang up job. I mean, I don't have much else to say about this, if I'm totally honest. We'll look at a couple more pages and then we'll go to the next stories. Again, with his landscapes. Beautiful use of negative space there. And wow, wow, wow. So nice. Yeah, it's also stuff like this where the big appeal for me about maybe superhero comics and things like that is part of that appeal, and I think it translates the same for underground comics as well. Part of the appeal of getting the floppies and having them in on this paper that is yellowed, I really feel that more often than not, that adds to the overall aesthetic of the enjoyment of some of these books. But then I see stuff like this and I absolutely understand why superhero fans want their stuff reprinted on white paper. Sometimes I feel like the overall whiteness of the paper does take away from it. I'm not seeing that here, but that's probably because I'm such a fan. It's nice to see it as crisp as possible, even if this never would have been how it was originally presented. So I think that that's something else to keep in mind, possibly that, yes, this is presented in the highest quality for this book, but when he was making this comic, it was never intended to be on the whitest of paper like we're seeing here. It just wasn't an option. Knowing the limitations of the newsprint and knowing kind of the color that was going to be on it, right? So as much as this is a really crisp way to look at it, this was never going to be how it was originally intended. And I would argue the same thing for any of the superhero reprints, the same thing. um, Corben is an artist unto himself, completely unique. Absolutely, I would agree with that as well. So then we get the Beast of Wolfton. I think it's in this Grimwit and Werewolf. Let's have a look at Werewolf. Let's see here. Yeah, I think here it is. Give me one sec. So I guess this was intended as a trilogy. Oh boy, yeah, and it's a fucking no-brainer. So I guess this was intended as a trilogy. These stories supposedly all kind of link together. Um, I'm again with Earl Grey when he says I don't really see the link between all three. I see the link between the last two for sure. I guess what they're presenting is that maybe this is I don't know, the grandchild or the child of Rowlf and whatever family that he's created or his lineage. Um, so yeah, and right away, if we look at the color version of this, it's just there's nothing to compare here because there's really not much of anything on that page. And perfect example of, as much as I enjoy this book, I think this Werewolf collection is one of the stronger Corben collections just for the stories that they put in there. And then the way that some of them are reproduced, this is not one of the best examples. You can see all of that almost black space. And when we look at the splash page here, all of the detail of the forest was clearly lost. So is this one that's also in Grimwit? I think the same story might be in this issue of Grimwit. Issue number 1. Issue number 2 infamously has the first Dan appearance. So this one's a little better, still a little dark around the edges, but you do get a little more of a sense of things here. And you also get the intro. So 1972 is this story here. I'm your amorous hostess, Horrorlore, for the Beast of Wolfton. We'll have a couple of looks at some of these pages. So I think it might have been in the next story where it was one of the reasons why he wanted to have this in black and white. The textures on the face, yeah, like stuff like this is really nice. Very sharp in here. Let's have a look to see how that translated here. Not bad, nice and moody for sure. But some of the detail is lost, but I kind of like that look in black and white too in the single issue. Looks really nice. A comics assassin is right there, Video Homicide. Yeah, that's kind of, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about on this one. I just like sitting with these books and checking things out, doing the side by side. It's the end of that one. And then the Spirit of the Beast. Yeah, so it was this face, I think, that Earl Grey had talked about. Was the main reason why he wanted to kind of present these in black and white, because of the beautiful work here, which I can't even imagine. I think this one appears in the Werewolf book here as well, too. Let's have a look. Maybe it doesn't. There we go. Spirits of the Beast. Some nice coloring there for sure. Purples and pinks. Oh yeah, and you lose it all here for sure. I think that's on screen there. Let's look. Yeah, you can see that now. You lose everything in those top 3 panels for sure. It doesn't translate. The hands don't look too bad, but you lose a hell of a lot though for sure. Anyway, there you go. What more can I say? It's fucking Richard Corben, man. You need to have it. And then here's the story of Oteg, which again, I'm not sure where that's appeared. And then there's a huge amount of back matter in this one too. So a great afterword by Jose himself, which is always amazing. Offers a lot of really good insight. This is from Voice of Comicdom, issue number 16. So there was an interview with him in Voice of Comicdom, issue number 16 and issue number 17. There's also an interview. I thought I had one of them, but I don't have either of them. I've got, Mirkwood Times that also has an interview with them. So there's the Voice of Comicdom issue 16 cover. I think they do an issue 17 as well. Yeah, there you go, issue 17. So that's where these stories originally appeared. And then there's some Grim Wit, Rowlf, and there's the werewolf cover. Yeah, and some of the horror hostess front and end pieces. So fantastic. A bunch of other material that happened. I mean, look at this here. It's just a fucking stunner. Just amazing. Also seeing that contrast on both of those pages. Still very cartoony kind of character with just hyper realistic backgrounds. This one, cartoony looking character with this very comic booky type of backgrounds or kind of insinuation of trees and roots and things. Oh, look at that. That's fucking beautiful. Man, every single time I'm just so glad they also seem to be on top of it. It feels like the last book didn't come out too long ago. So there's for the second printing. Werewolf. And then we get to Trail Comics, some comics that he did when he was a kid, 8 years old and in the 3rd grade. The series featured the heroic fantasy adventures of his family's pet dog, Trail, and spanned about 8 issues. Although most of the comics have been lost, 2 issues still exist, giving us a glimpse into Corben's earliest art. They are presented here for the first time, courtesy of his family. Amazing, just so fucking amazing, man. Great job, as usual. Fantastic job. I couldn't be happier with everything that's coming out from Dark Horse. I'm so glad that they're staying on top of it. I'm so glad that they're announcing books in advance. I'm so glad that Villarubia is at the helm. Original lettering script for The Beast of Wolfton. I'm so glad that people are buying the books. Keep them coming. I'll keep talking about them, and my shelf will collapse under the sheer weight of all of these beautiful Richard Corben library books. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate it. Always good to see you. Let's see. This is an artist fun to nerd out and collect different versions of, like different recordings of Stooges Funhouse. Absolutely. So glad Dark Horse is doing these. It's a good way to put it, 420. It really is like finding European or Japanese pressings of your favorite Kiss album or whatever it is that you're collecting. It's completely true. Just seeing how often this stuff has been reproduced and in these different formats, color and black and white. Well said. Let's leave it at that. Thanks very much, everybody. We'll talk to you.